All right, welcome back to the channel. So, according to Leonard Ellerby, Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia is the biggest fight in boxing. That would mean that it is bigger, according to Leonard Ellerby, than Errol Spence Jr. versus Terrence Crawford, Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury, Canelo Alvarez versus Gennady Golovkin, all of those, and some others I think that other people pretend are actually bigger than Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia, but I'm not sure. And actually, as Leonard Ellerby says this, I don't think he's too far off. Very close. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So, as you know, on this channel, I try my best not to indulge in make-believe. I like to look at the facts, look at the world, and see what it is. Then, after I see what it is, I then make my decision, or give you my opinion of all of the facts that are laid out there and what I think of them once I synthesize them. It's my opinion. But it's based on numbers and facts that are regularly available to the public. So when Gervonta Davis, CEO, or let's see, the CEO of Mayweather Promotions, everybody likes the phrase CEO. The CEO, Leonard Ellerby, says that he believes that it is the biggest fight in boxing. Sorry, allergy break. So let's get back into this. All right, so Leonard Ellerby is the CEO of Mayweather Promotions, and he says that this fight is bigger than the rest of them, and I think he is close to right. Not completely right. I think he's off a little bit, and it is, but I suspect that the reason it's off a little bit is because he's promoting Gervonta Davis, right? But with like many things, Leonard Ellerby, this is my opinion. And I don't watch Leonard Ellerby extremely closely because I don't really think that there is a need to because he's a very honest guy. Even if he's not doing the things that I would like for him to do or Mayweather Promotions making the fights that I want to make, the words that leave Leonard Ellerby's mouth are very precise. They are very honest, and they tend to come to fruition. And so you got to take it seriously. So let's look at, that's how I feel. I have to take it seriously because I think he's somebody that you should take seriously. So is that true? Let's look at the numbers, right? Now, why would he, one more thing. Leonard Ellerby also knows what he's talking about. He also knows very much what he's talking about because he's been involved with, and Mayweather Promotions has been involved with, the biggest pay-per-view fights in history. You have Mayweather pay-per-view fights, Errol Spence pay-per-view fights, Gervonta Davis pay-per-view fights, Canelo Alvarez pay-per-view fights when he fought Floyd Mayweather Jr. and when he fought on the undercard of Floyd Mayweather Jr. Fights early in his career. Manny Pacquiao's fought on. Again, I'm talking about the PBC and Floyd because it's kind of the same group of people. And Deontay Wilder, and I'm sure there are other ones that I am missing. There's just a lot of experience doing these things and growing fighters over there at Mayweather Promotions now. And that wasn't always the case. There was a time when they were matching their fighters very, very hard, and I didn't mind it, but I don't think that they at that time had the caliber of fighter necessarily that they do now, especially when you're looking at a Gervonta Davis. But Gervonta Davis was grown by Mayweather Promotions and selling out cities in, like, what did he sell out? 5 different arenas. I know one of them was in in San Antonio. And that one, that had it's kind of not a limited capacity, but, they could only sell so many tickets and have so many people in there because of COVID. So is it bigger? Yes and no. I think I do not believe that it is bigger than Errol Spence Jr. versus Terrence Crawford, but the argument is there, and it may be. It may be. The argument for it being bigger is Ryan Garcia versus Terrence Crawford and the amount of excitement that it could build with fans of Ryan Garcia. But obviously Ryan Garcia is not as developed a star or developed a name as Terrence Crawford, but you're hoping that you can pull in the teeny bopper crowd, right? The younger people that are going to be excited about King Ray and younger folk that are going to be excited about Gervonta Tank Davis, right? Because that's what we all talk about, is trying to get the younger crowd into boxing, as if the younger crowd's not already into boxing. It's like, I have analytics of over 20 million views over the last 3 years. My average age is in the middle of the 30s. It's not in the 50s like these guys are lying about. But regardless, that's what they keep pitching. Maybe we'll solve the problem if we just get younger. No. This fight between Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia could also sell because it's a good fight that people actually want to see. Now, I don't think it's very smart of Ryan Garcia to get in there. But hey, man, that's not my choice. That's his choice. And seeing as he's the type of fighter he is, and if everything was right, even if he did lose, he'd be able to come back out there and fight again. And when he fights Gervonta Davis, shoot, if he loses, he's going to lose for a lot more money than just having some dude like Luke Campbell catch him. You know what I'm saying? Catch him and he doesn't get up. You know, that type of thing. But I don't think that it is bigger than than Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, because if that fight gets made, I'm telling you, it's going to explode when that fight gets made. That's the biggest fight in boxing, or him or Errol Spence Jr. and Canelo Alvarez. Those fights, I believe, Errol Spence Canelo and Errol Spence Terrence are bigger than Gervonta versus Ryan Garcia. But I'll tell you what I don't think is, and you guys might not like it, but Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury in the UK, this one's bigger. Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia is bigger than that fight, because that fight between Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Tank Davis, even if it was in Dallas, I think it would sell out in Dallas. I think that fight has a chance to sell out the AT&T Stadium. And if it could, I believe that it could. I know that Errol Spence Jr. versus Canelo Alvarez could. But if you sell out, or if you get 50,000 people in there for that fight in AT&T Stadium, and you got $200, and it's $200, $250 a ticket, nah, man, that's going to make more money. And you're going to do 1 million pay-per-views, right? So, and 1 million pay-per-views is $75 a pop, not $25 a pop. That's going to be a bigger fight, man. So, you know, again, like I like how Leonard Ellerby, and I like how, really just all around, dude, the PBC, they're making the money. They're all through this coronavirus, dude. These guys are putting on pay-per-views. They're not relying upon the budget of ESPN to give them to spread out to their fighters. No, they're saying, hey, man, just put this. Hey, we will just give us a mechanism to sell it ourselves so we can offset the money on the budget, so you don't have to pay everything out of pocket. And whatever overage it is, man, my guys can make a lot of money. And to boot, what do you get? You get a free retelecast of it that you can sell ads on. Seems like a good game plan to us. I'm telling you, the way that this boxing scene looks like it's playing out in about 4 years, if it doesn't go back, and most times it doesn't. Like the turn that took place in 2000, and then in 2006, I think there was one in 2000. There was definitely one in 90 and 88. That was a killer. But the one at 2000, the stuff that happened in 2000, and then the crashes that happened in 2003, 2004, dude, people have not recovered from that. That stuff has not come all the way back, and it won't probably come all the way back. And if it does come back, it's going to come back different. You know what I mean? And you're going to have to learn how to plan around that. I think that there's a lot of comforts associated with the way life has changed and people traveling less and doing all that. And I think that is going to continue. And I don't know if Top Rank and these guys are really set for that business model, man. And I just don't think that they are. And I have listened to Leonard Ellerby talk about how they actually go around and actually promote these fighters by having events, and that he says we're thinking out of the box. No, man, you're just actually promoting. You're actually having guys walking around, going to clubs in the city, hanging out, talking to people, getting their names out, and not just relying on a network budget. The PBC is working, and other cats are being a little bit more lazy, man, and relying on getting that big network money. But anyway, I digress. That is what Leonard Ellerby said, man. It's intriguing watching these guys and how business goes down between these guys. Love doing it. Anyway, that's my take on the scenario. You let me know yours. And with that, I'm out. Peace.